Let's get to your top 5 this year. Starting out at number 5, who's on your list?
Ty Davis Price from LSU.
All right.
All right. That's where we're going to. This is, to me, one of them, this is a fun watch. This really was. First off, 6 foot 211. I don't know. What I really would like to know is what he played at during the season, because he looks like he's bigger than that on the on the college football field. And, here's a guy that's got a little bit of everything, in my opinion, as far as what I like at the running back position. We see plenty of plays to go, hey, he's got speed to break 40 and 50-yard touchdowns against elite SEC competition, and go, I know those guys, and those are NFL corners, and he's running away or scoring touchdowns on the same field as them. And then what I think I was blown away by was the physicality in which he runs it. How many plays and times where I went, whoa, there's not a lot there, 4-yard gain. What? He got 8? He got 7? He got 10?
Yeah.
That's where I was really impressed by him.
I mean, to me, that's even more useful. It shows up more in the NFL than
does.
someone who can hit you a home run. If
know.
it looks like a loss of 2 and you actually get 1 yard, that extra 2 or 3, I mean, that comes into play every single down.
Agreed. And that's where I know I've messed up a little in the past, because I get a little obsessed with the sexiness stuff or the big play ability. And we got to go, wait, no, hold on. The NFL's different here. We got linebackers who run 4.4, and they're 245, and that guy that's big play is never going to break the tackle getting through the line of scrimmage to get there. So Davis Price has that. So the plenty of speed to break the big plays. He has a special way, in 2 different ways that I like. Like he's got the jump cut, right? And for anybody out there, the jump cut, like gonna run between the guard and the center gap right there, right on the right side, right in that hole between the guard and the center, right? And all of a sudden he's up there, and oh man, the gap closed. He can just jump his body to the right, still stay square to the line of scrimmage, and then reaccelerate and go. And why that's important is because now your shoulders are still in a position to, if people come in, you could take the blows and continue to go, let alone your body's in a position to accelerate, right?
Yeah.
That's where jump cuts are really good.
It's kind of a must-have right now. If you can just everybody picture that stretch zone run to the right, you see something back to the left. I mean, that jump cut is needed all the time.
It definitely is. And
right
really
at the line of scrimmage.
And really all aspects of the running scheme. So you're right. There's that, following the guard between the hole. Oh, I was going to go here, but the linebacker I got to jump and get over here. He had that I liked. But what I really liked even more was, his feet. He kind of has a way of weaving through traffic. He's got very nice loose hips to where, again, I wish people would watch this, but doesn't need to break down, right? And I got a 5-yard gain. I'm up in the hole. Doesn't need to I got to break down and do this to make somebody miss. Can kind of just wiggle his way through. Oh, you got your shoulder on my hip. It doesn't really matter. I'm still running. So he was really good at that and had very good feet to, okay, wait, I'm running here and pitter patter, boom, stick my foot in the ground and cut this way. I wrote, in fact, he reminded me of a little bit of Leonard Fournette that way. You think about Leonard Fournette has a little bit of that. He sometimes has a little bit of that Fred Flintstone pitter patter run, right? Yeah. But that allows him to weave through little tight spots in between the tackles to get extra yards. I really like that. Good. So sticks his foot in the ground, pretty good speed. 4.48, which I thought was pretty true for this guy. I thought he was a low 4.5, high 4.4 type of guy. But it's an interesting blend of, game breaker-ish type speed, right? Then you got the size where, again, even if it is 211, it's okay. The majority of the weight is in his legs, it looks like. He's got great legs. And then the power. The power is real. I mean, he looks to run people over, or, hey, there's nothing there. I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to go get 3 yards.
6 foot 211. I mean, just from you see that and you're like, okay.
Yes,
that's pretty thick.
He was a surprise
to me.
Plays
that way.
He was a more of a. I knew this guy was a good player. I guess I was a little blown away with how many yards after contact he got. How many times I went, oh, it's an 8-yard gain, and he put his shoulder down and it became a 14-yard gain, or he had people hanging on him and he still put. That's to me where he really jumped out. So if I like the player a lot.
If I set the unofficial over under at early to mid 3rd round, sounds like what you're describing to me. Would you take the over or under?
I'm going to say, I look at him as probably being right in that range of 50 to 70.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in that range. So that would take you to about the mid-third round. So I
yeah.
guess I'm saying under there,
yeah,
I guess. But it'll be right there in that,
that's
I think,
right
that little
read.
spot. I think so.
Okay.
They're
also, and it's great. I mean, it's fun when someone excites you, and I can tell that when you like someone, no matter what the position is, a little more than you thought.
Right.
It really kind of comes through. I like hearing that. There are always concerns, though, and I think with him,
let's hit him.
Wide range of film out there. Looks awesome one play, maybe the next doesn't look like he's quite sure. A little unmotivated. The energy's not the same. Did you notice any of that?
I really didn't. I don't. I think he's a little bit of a rhythm runner, if you want me to say that, where he needs carries. Like, if he hasn't got the ball, like as I started to watch there, the one thing that continued to like kind of show up to me when you watch games, especially as games went on, he was better and better, So where I think he just has to, he's a little bit of a, you don't want to give him just like, oh, here's one carry and then we don't give you the ball again for 2 quarters. That's where I looked at it. So like once he got in a flow and got a feel for how he needed to run, there was no indecisiveness or anything that I worried about. So I didn't have problems with that. And one of the last things I wrote down is he gets better the more he got the ball as the year went on. He really did. You see, guys, they get tired of hitting him a little bit in the third and fourth quarter. He doesn't wear down. He's still got the quicks and everything along to go with it. But no, I've heard some of those concerns, and I can't say that I saw them on film.
So better in second half of games or better in the second half of the season?
But a little bit of both, actually. Yeah. I would say a little bit of both. But really what I was really saying there was, the second half of games.
Okay.
You could see, hey, first 2 carries, maybe he's getting a little feel for the game. Now it's the third quarter. It's the same run play. He's got a little feel for how the defense is playing. Maybe he got coached on the sideline. All of a sudden, he's got to get a different gear in how he attacks the line of scrimmage. You can definitely see that.
Sitting here listening to you, I come back to something you said right away in this podcast, and how you like the depth of this class a lot. And I think this is a good snapshot for it. You're talking about your 5th-rated running back in this much of a positive way. It speaks well for what you think of the class. He
is a NFL starting running back. Like, that's where I came away, I think, more blown away from the draft. That's why I want to make sure we get to the honorable mentions at the end a little bit, because I really came away like after the first day. I think I watched like 15 running backs in like the first day and a half or whatever, and I came away going like, shit. I think like 10 of these guys that I watched are like, they're starters. That doesn't mean they're second-round picks, but like have starting caliber traits to where I go, 2 years from now, if they're the bell cow of this team, I will not be shocked.
Wow.
Yeah. I was amazed by that.
Okay, so at 5, Ty Davis-Price, LSU, bringing us to number 4.
Number 4, we're staying in the family here, okay? It's the family member.
It's a good family for toting the ball.
What? Holy cow. Holy DNA package, all right? James Cook, Georgia. That's where we're going next. Now, James Cook he's a little different than the guy we just talked about. This is where we get into the conversation about, a little specialization, where teams like what they expect from running backs. James Cook, 5'11", 199. I don't think he is the guy that you want, to run 27 times between the tackles and do that. That's not what he is.
Let's throw up his measurables.
Yeah.
Keep introducing us to him as we see. And the easy, I think, fun thing to do. There we go. Compare him to his brother, Dalvin Cook. So there's what we see. He's a little taller, but he doesn't weigh as much. Let's see the speed. Yeah, both in the 4.4s.
Yeah.
James Cook, 4.42. Dalvin Cook, high 4.4s. Vertical jump, James Cook a little bit better. Broad jump, James also better that one as well.
James is special. He is. He doesn't have the power his brother had. His brother's got a special lower half to where, again, I bet you Dalvin weighs more than 210. I bet you that's I
was thinking
for the 40.
Yeah.
I got to get down a little weight.
Yeah.
So I would bet you he's closer to 218, 220.
Carries himself more towards 215 or 220.
I think so. The way his body looks, exactly. The way he takes hits, his acceleration. I think things like that are a little bit better than his brother James here, but James is phenomenal. I mean, again, when you talk about, this is a space running back.
Yep.
This is a little bit of a, hey, outside zone, we're going to go that way. Oh, you see a gap between the right guard and the right tackle. There it is. Put your foot in the ground and fly through it. And then once you get through it, hey, now you can make some people miss and do all that. But that's what he is. And really for his size, runs with a little bit better power than you would expect. I mean, doesn't just go down on contact. See a lot of plays where people hit him on the edge of the side and he stays up. But I think there's 2 things. Like, unbelievable in space. The speed is real. Don't care who it is, and you see him, you go, oh, it doesn't matter. Alabama, Tennessee, whoever. He can run by and run with all these teams, right? Acceleration is like through the roof's good. Through the roof, where you just go, well, 0 to 60 in 2 steps, right? And then catches the ball. Right out of the backfield,
67 catches for 730. I mean, that jumps out to me. First of all, the number, and a lot of times backs catch a lot of balls, and it's like 6 yards per catch. He's over 10 yards per reception. I love that. Bringing us to this question from at Barbecue Chicken 43. Good handle there, by the way.
That.
Thoughts on James Cook's value as a pass catching back? It seems like that's where the value at the position is going, but no one seems to be talking about Cook.
People will be talking. I'm sure Cook is that guy that like a lot of teams are watching and go, oh, I hope everybody thinks he's too small and can't play running back for our team. Let's not say anything. I mean, he's a difference maker. He's a game breaker. There's just not many guys that you come across like this. Tailback, weapon, slot receiver. I don't give a what you call him. The guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's period.
What kind of passes is he catching? Like checkdowns out of backfield screens?
I'm glad you're taking me there because that's where it is. First off, he's a top-notch route runner. Like, runs like a wide receiver.
Nice.
So you got that. He's going to be able to come out of the backfield, and if he got, all the Alvin Kamara, Sean Payton, Drew Brees stuff, the halfback choices, come out. We're going to give you an option according to the coverage. You read it the right way and how they're playing you, and you got to cut one of 3 ways. He's going to be amazing at that stuff.
Yeah.
Off the charts, let alone when you put him out at receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, slant goes.
So, like,
go routes.
You're talking not just the receiver where he's just outside the tight end box.
No.
Like, out wide, he can do that.
Out wide, too.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's a guy you can legitimately go, hey, it's 3rd and 4. We had him in the backfield. We motioned him out.
Yeah.
He's outside. We're going to throw an outside slant to him on a safety or linebacker.
That is an asset.
I know. And then let alone reverses, speed sweeps, all of that. So, that's the thing to me he's a natural runner. He's got very good vision. He's just got a good feel for the blocking at times where I'd return plays on and go, man, how did he see that hole there already? He just got a feel and kind of knowing how it's gonna go. And, of course, can turn 5 into 25 in a hurry. Oh, there's no hole, bounces it outside, and can turn the corner about as easy as any running back in the draft that way.
More fun with numbers and stats. Never had more than 12 carries in a game at Georgia. Does that concern you at all?
No, it doesn't. One of the things, I'm glad you brought this up too.
Yeah.
You see enough. There's enough over the last 2 years to go, I mean, how much do I got to see? The guy can break ankles and run by people. I look at it as a positive. I do.
Oh, just in terms of wear and tear?
Don't even do it. I'll give a lot of coaches credit here, and we're going to get into some of them. We're going to get another one right after this where you could tell there's a concerted effort by some of these college coaches not to kill these young kids.
Because the other way of looking at it, and it's a fun thing to do this time of year, you want to look at the concern side and say, God, if he's that good, why aren't they letting him touch the ball more?
I know. Well, they're at also a place where the other guy he was sharing carries. And again, all right, I'm going to just throw that out there. The kid, his teammate, White, right? Is it Kazir White? I got so many names in my head. Excuse me if I'm blanking on just for a second here. Yeah, Kamir White. Excuse me. Zamir White.
Pretty good.
Yes. He's pretty damn good, too, right? So some of these schools, they got 2 pro running backs. It's just you got to deal with it.
And maybe a third that you don't know about yet.
And then they're getting a little specialized, too. What we're talking about a little. Just like, Georgia's going, wait, okay, bell cow running back. Hey, put White in. Yeah. Hey, we want to get into the space game. Throw, Cook back in. But elite runner and elite route runner, elite wide receiver out of the backfield and being able to do that. He's going to kill linebackers in the NFL.
Sounds like he could kill nickelback as well.
Definitely can. He's a legit like slot receiver type the way he plays, and plays with better strength and size than his measurables would indicate. And the last thing I wrote is, the guy's real, and I wrote some of the names I wrote down that he reminded me of. J.K. Dobbins, coming out of Ohio State of the Baltimore Ravens, right? Jerick McKinnon, when he came out, you saw him in Kansas City this year. Hey, that's a guy that's had 2 bad knee injuries, so don't go about there. Aaron Jones-ish, right? But I thought even more elusive in space than Aaron Jones. Maybe didn't have the power to lower shoulders like Aaron Jones did coming out, but able to be every bit as fast to go 70 to the house and I think can make people miss in space better than Aaron Jones. So those are some of the names he reminded me of.
I didn't think I was going to go with this kind of question when I saw him at number 4, but just listen to you talk about him. One number here to back this up. I think Saquon Barkley in the last 4 years, the only running back to go in the top 10. All the other first-round running backs, I think 24 to 32. And I bring that up because, okay, late 20s, in the 30s, do you think a team that loves a running back in the passing game might consider him that high?
I don't think they will. I don't. One, I think the depth of the position this year in the draft can hurt some of these guys as far as because they might just go, we need another position here. Yeah. We love this kid. But we know there's another pass-catching running back that we just got, not too big of a drop-off grade later on. So I think that could hurt some of these guys.
Yeah.
He's a little specialized as far as like what we talked about. So he's not going to be the guy that's going to go, we're going to give him the ball 25 times a game.
It would be a team with a specific running back.
They would want to really exactly right. I think it would be like, hey, if we were sitting there, Kansas City Chiefs got it all.
And they did it.
That's what I mean. To me, this is like, oh, man, if they had James Cook instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I love but has been a disappointment. Yeah. There's no joke.
Yeah.
That would be the type of thing where, maybe. But I do think we're talking about a guy that's top 45, 50 picks of the draft here. I do, definitely.
Second round.
He's
nice.
too big of a playmaker. It's too explosive. There's just not many guys that can do what he can do with the ball in his hands this way.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to 3. At 5, you had Ty Davis-Price, LSU. 4, James Cook. We just talked about him out of Georgia. And I just have a feeling this SEC theme is going to continue here at number 3.
Yes, it is. And we're going to Florida. Dameon Pierce.
And we have some combine sound from him before you jump into this.
Cool.
This is from Indianapolis, and he was asked the question, what is your running style?
Dameon, how would you describe your running style?
How would I describe it? Angry, up-tempo. I mean, I don't run with good intentions, so,
And he said all that with a big smile on his face. Love it.
So,
what are you showing me
here? Fourth to last, I don't know, it's my script handwriting, but this kid is...
Violent.
Yes.
Violent.
It is.
He said angry, you say violent. I love that in my running back.
Violent.
Sign me up.
No doubt. Another guy that, again, you hear about some of the big names in this, right? And, then you get to this process and, running back from Florida, blah, blah, blah. And one of the more pleasant surprises of the whole evaluation process for me here, too. Again, it's a third one, it seems like a pleasant surprise. It is. I know.
Third in a row.
Listen, this was not an easy top 5 to do.
Yeah.
It was not.
In a good way.
In a good way. Exactly right. But, I mean... This kid is just a little ball of muscle.
5'10", 218.
5'10", 218. And again, I doubt it was 218 when he was playing. It was 218 to make sure he ran 4.5 at the combine.
To get to Indy?
Yeah. Yes, no doubt about it. It just doesn't look that way. But thick as hell, power, can't get him on the ground. You know me, I love me some thighs and some butt.
That's right.
And he's got thighs and butts for days, right? And... he's a little bit like we talked about, with the pitter-patter run. He's got that whole aspect, and I love it. First off, the acceleration is phenomenal as far as getting to the hole, right? His 4.59, 4.6 speed, that's about what he is. He's not a guy that's going to run for 70-yard touchdowns, but he's going to run for a lot of quick, explosive 10- and 20-yard runs. We're going to go, holy crap, did he get shot out of a cannon going right through the hole there. That's where he's really good. And then... so the acceleration, but then the power and contact balance, it's probably the best in the draft out of all the running backs.
Who's he remind you of?
Kareem Hunt.
Nice.
Yes. And, I kept sitting there watching him, and I'm watching him going, man, who does this kid remind me of? There was somebody, it was driving me crazy. And then I went, you know what? I think it's Kareem Hunt. He kind of was walking back to the huddle on a play, and I was like, man, that's Kareem Hunt's walk. That's who he's reminding me of. And then I looked up Kareem Hunt. I went, Kareem Hunt, combine. And I went, holy shit. They're the fucking carbon copy of each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a style that's very similar to each other. So power, contact balance, off the charts good. I mean, the acceleration, I told you about that, all right? Then... because of the quick feet and the pitter-patter and all that, has an incredible way of making people miss. I mean, he's not, one-on-one.
Yeah.
The one never gets him. Never. I mean, I was one thing I wrote down as I went on. I just went one-on-one. The guy never gets him.
I have the same feeling I've had the last 3 or 4 years with you, where I'm listening to you describe someone at 4.3 or 2, and I'm like, gosh,
he might be your guy.
Why is he not higher?
I know. Well, this is a year
you must
where
love 1 and 2.
1 and 2 are pretty damn good. They're special this year. They are, because this guy is special too.
Yeah,
he is. This guy is a guy that I look at and go, he could lead the league in rushing 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Yeah,
So to talk about that, he's quick to the hole. He can redirect in a hurry when the hole closes up, and then if he can, he's got tremendous power just to lower his pads and do that. So that's where he's great. But like, he's one of these guys where if you don't square him up and wrap up perfectly, you're not going to tackle him ever. Guys fall off of him left and right. That's where he's good. Catches the ball well.
That was my next question.
Good. Just like Kareem Hunt, where I went, guy's kind of a natural, looks like.
Catches it like not a liability, or actually pretty good at it?
It looked like it was natural. Now, you don't get to see, he's not lining up a slot receiver like James Cook and doing all of that. But it wasn't like, it was, I'm on the run and I'm snagging it out of the air. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to slow down and make sure I catch it and then take off. Or, oh, gosh, I'm going to bring it into my body and just make sure I secure it and then try to run. It looked natural to me. I don't think you're going to make a living on going, wait, we want to make this guy a 60-catch-a-year guy.
Yeah.
That's not what he is.
But not going to hurt you.
But he's not going to hurt you. Yeah. And if you do got to call a pass play with him, he's going to be able to do it. Or he's in on first down, you do a play-action pass, got to throw to him in the flat. He's going to catch it and do something with it. He was fun to watch, man.
Can you tell with any of these guys? Because I know the evaluators really want to know, what's he like in pass protection? Because that's such a big part of it. Right. You can see him running around and catching the ball, but since you don't know what the scheme was blocking-wise, it can be difficult to get a read there.
Yeah.
Could you with him or these other guys?
Yeah, you can. He's going to be amazing at it, right? There's just because he's so thick and powerful, like him squaring you up and taking you on, he loves it. Like, it's not even, it goes into his violence or I want to hurt you or whatever else. That's who he is. Cook, liability in pass pro. You're definitely going to be careful with him.
Yeah.
When he's in, you're probably going to go, everybody just get out. And if they blitz, we're going to get at you quick, and then you run.
It's probably
right. I know. So you got to be careful with that to a degree. Even with the Ty Davis price, right? It needs work. It does. With running back, so much of the time, though, I do think at times it can be a little over-evaluated. It can be.
But it is such a huge part of whether they're let on the field right away.
No, it can be. The trust tree, that's the first thing. Can he just figure out who he's supposed to block?
Right.
The rest of the stuff, I always looked at it like, because I remember getting guys in the NFL, oh, he's not the best at, pass pro. We wish he was a little better or more physical. But it goes into a little bit of the old adage of, like I talk about, you get in the NFL, and it's so cutthroat. And people aren't kissing your ass, and you got guys in your running back room who are also good,
right?
And they can block the blitzer. So, do you want to stay on the field and play, and do you want to make $10 million a year in a few years from now? So, team will sign you that, and that brings it out in these guys, because it's not like these guys are like, Ty Davis. It's not like he's afraid to block. I mean, he's running over people like he's a Mack truck all the time.
Right.
It's a little bit, I think, of, I'm going to just try to chop his leg off here. I'm going to just try to hit him on the edge and knock him down that way. Kind of cheating their way through it to a degree.
Yeah.
I get more worried when I look at the tape and I just go, oh, the guy has no fucking clue what his responsibility was.
Yeah.
That's when I get worried.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that from any of these guys where I went, oh, they're clueless and they don't understand it.
Right.
Do some of them need some work? Yeah, they do.
Lots you love about Pierce, obviously,
yes, I do.
But I'm sure there are reasons he's 3 instead of 1.
Yes.
What concerns are out there for you?
Well, I don't have a lot of concerns. I think the other two guys are just a little bit more special. Okay. You get to see, few more variety of different types of runs.
So it's more about the other guy's strengths than
I think so. I don't look at weaknesses here. The only weakness I would tell you is, I don't think this is a guy that's going to be able to, and if you're on the ball at your own 40-yard line, he's not going to turn the corner and run for a 60-yard touchdown. But so what?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to make up for it for the amount of that should have been a 4-yard run, but it was a 20-yard run. Yeah. Oh, that should have been a 2-yard run, and it was a 12-yard run. That's where he's going to make up for the lack of game-breaking, 4-2, 4-3 game-breaking speed.
Okay. I'm impressed with your third back. Anything else you want to go with on him?
I think we're good. Just, hey, to your point with the earlier thing with James Cook, Doesn't have a lot of carries. Doesn't have a lot of wear and tear.
100 carries last year. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
9 career games with 10-plus carries. Also not a lot.
Not a lot. I know. But to me, and the fact that he's that physical, I'll take it. And I think it's a positive, really, in the end.
Ty Davis-Price, 5. James Cook, 4. Dameon Pierce, number 3. Number 2, buddy.
Number 2, going to your home state.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Uh-oh.
The other school.
The other school.
Yeah.
The lesser school.
Cyclones.
The lesser school.
Okay.
All right. I'll say that while you're here, at least.
When I was there, they had Blaze Bryant got drafted. Remember Blaze Bryant?
I do remember Blaze
Jets?
Bryant. Yeah, I do remember that.
A 10th round pick.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all you got.
David Montgomery.
Right.
Chicago Bear.
Yep. He's pretty good.
I think I've emptied the tank on Cyclone running backs.
Yeah. I think you have emptied the tank. But Breece Hall, who we're going to talk about right now,
player.
He's going to make people know who Iowa State is for sure. And I know. Listen, I know a lot of people say this is the number 1 running back in the draft. I like Breece Hall a lot. The guy I'm going to talk about next, I like more, and I have no doubt that I like the other guy more. I do. Now, Breece Hall, where do you want to start? I mean, got game-breaking speed right off the bat, right? Ran 4.39. I don't know if it looks like 4.39 on the field.
5'11", 217, under 4.4. That's
I know.
Like right away you're like, okay.
Right.
You have my attention.
Exactly. Those are Jonathan Taylor-esque numbers. Jonathan Taylor, I think, was 230 or 228 and had the 4.39.
And it shows up?
And Breece Hall, I'll say this. It shows up. It's I don't know if it's 4.3. It's low 4.4-ish to me.
That's good.
Yes, it is good. Either way, he is the kind of guy that can turn the corner and run for a 70-yard gain and be a touchdown and hit his head on the goalpost. Does all that stuff. Runs hard. He does falls forward a lot. And what I mean by that is, takes that big blow and the pile doesn't stop there. He gets 2-3 more yards. So, it was going to be 2nd and 5. Oh, wait, no, Breece got 2 or 3 more. It's 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3. Huge difference for a play caller and an offense that way. So that was big to me. He gets you, he's going to be really good in the short yardage situations, right? He's got the loose hips, like I was talking about with Ty Davis, to where now he's not going to break you down and break your ankles. And this is to me one of the things that the first guy that we'll talk about here in a minute had. And he's not going to be, we're in the hole, I'm going to get in a wide stance and try to break you and get you out of position and then re-accelerate because I got you off balance and go. He can't do that. That's not what he does. He's not great at that. But he is good at doing what I talked about a little bit with Ty Davis as far as weaving. Oh, wait, there's a guy about to tackle me. Let me move my hips and, I got pretty quick feet to where, you hit me, but barely on the edge of my thigh pad. So I'm still going. I like that about him.
He's kind of like, when I watch him, like smooth and rhythmic to the point where it's almost like sometimes it looks like he's not going as hard as he should because he's so smooth.
I know. Well,
it's a compliment more than it is questioning his effort. But his running style is just kind of that way when you watch him.
Well, that's why he's second, though.
Yeah.
Because there's too many runs where I go, you got to hit it here. You got to hit it. It's there. Go. There was too many runs. And I was going to get to this at the end, but because you say this, and I just want to make sure I get this, I got to a point where I went, I wish he got more there. All right, so let me remind this. All right, so he was all right. So here we go. I'm at my point. Sorry, I'm reading through my notes. There was too many runs where I saw a crease, and I went, he should have got more. Where I go, what? Like, why didn't he hit it? Why didn't he put the pedal to the metal and go through that hole at 1,000,000 miles per hour? So I wrote, I'm a little underwhelmed with that. And I wrote, I wish he got more there a lot. Which was, there was more there to be had. And I just felt like there was so many there where it was like, yes, he got an 8 or 10 yard gain, but oh man, if he had just hit it hard, he would have split those two and got a 30-yard gain, but instead he got shoestring tackled or just tackled. And there was a lot of runs like that. That, again, we're talking about the top of the top here and how you differentiate the 1 and 2 running back in the draft.
Right.
Those are the little things that you start to look at because both guys that we're going to talk are freaks and can do awesome things. But that, to me, was he left some meat on the bone a little bit more than the guy we're going to get to at number 1 in a few minutes.
Well said. And I know I kind of pushed you to jump ahead a little bit, but I mean, you ran with that, no pun intended, very well because you took it to a place that was one of the questions that you had about him, which I think is good. So 1,500 rushing yards, a little more than that last year, led the FBS. How about as a receiver?
Receiver is going to be good too. He can do all of that. Definitely. Now, again, it's not James Cook. You're going to put him out at receiver and let him run slot routes and outside receiver routes.
Yeah.
But out of the backfield, wheel routes, halfback choice, yes, I'm going to do all of it. So he certainly has that aspect. And here, if you're watching these clips here, you see how natural he is. I mean, it's natural. It really is. So this is an all 3-down, all-around running back.
Legs and ass guy, too.
Oh, he's got legs and ass. He's a long strider, right? So there's another thing, long striding, it can be good, but it can also not be good sometimes when you're taking on shots through traffic or having to really accelerate in a hurry through a hole, right? This is one of the things that, I like the long strides, and there's aspects of it that are not the best for you that way. But I told you, he's a weaver. He's not a break your ankles or shake you type of guy that way. Not quite as twitchy and as explosive as I would have thought, to your point. It was a little bit more of a smoothness all the time. Yeah. And he can run fast very easily. But when it came to, oh, wait, there's nothing there in the hole, let me stop, and then restart, I wasn't like, oh, whoa, that was explosive. Look at him restart and do that. I didn't say that as much as like I'm going to say the other guy there.
Okay.
Yep.
Vertical 40 inches at the combine. That was the best. The only running back there where his effort started with a 4. That's good. And Pete, I think we have his measurables from mockdrafttable.com kind of compared to some others. If we want to run that guy up there. Okay, so that'll eventually show up here. There we go. Measurables. And where he is there, a number of different things.
He's a special athlete. I mean, he is.
Off the charts, really. I mean, high up there and all these things, height, weight.
All of it. It is.
10-yard split, 40-yard dash, 4.39, as you mentioned.
Yep.
The vertical was the best. Broad jump above 90th percentile. I mean, this is, for that position, a very good athlete.
It's an extremely good athlete. It's a really good football player. I don't think you can miss here. It's a lot of similarities to Jonathan Taylor. Like I said, I don't think he's as good as Jonathan Taylor was coming out. I thought Jonathan Taylor was more explosive and also broke more tackles. The name I wrote down here, the guy he really reminded me of, and I'm going to pull it up just to give you a little bit of the measurables here, is Antonio Gibson of the Washington Commanders. Yeah. Yes. And I don't know if people think that's a good thing or not, but I think Antonio Gibson's a hell of a running back, all right?
Yeah.
I don't look at it and go, oh, well, that's – how dare you say that, all right? And then just so you know, with Antonio Gibson, first off, Washington, it's not the best offensive line or offense in football, but 6 foot, 228, all right? So Antonio Gibson's bigger than Breece Hall. He ran 4.39, just like Breece Hall. Had a little slightly less vertical jump at 35 inches. But, the style and the way he runs, it reminded me of him more than anybody else. And I really like this kid, but I didn't – on Monday's podcast, right?
Yep.
Running backs, I started in the middle of the pack. I change it up with these teams. I don't always start at the top. Let me watch the best guy first. I like to change it up because sometimes I feel like if you watch the first guy first all the time, you're always basing everything off of that after that, right? So I kind of went to the middle of the pack. Monday's podcast, I was like, oh, Breece Hall is going to be a first rounder, and no doubt about it. No doubt. And I think he's my number one running back. I'd only really watched highlights of him to that point. I got done with the podcast, and I ended up going right home to watch him, and I went, oh, shit, I don't know. And I got into a few of the other guys, and the guy we're going to talk about in a second. And, I think it's close if he's a first-rounder. I wrote anywhere, 25 to 45.
Okay.
I think somewhere in that range. I wouldn't be shocked if he went in the end of the first. I wouldn't be shocked if it was the first 5 or 10 picks of the second round.
Like him a lot, maybe don't love him.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little lower than maybe the rest of the world is on him a little bit.
I have one more issue with Hall I want to bring up and see what you think,
do.
Especially because with a couple of guys we talked about already that hadn't carried the ball, or they did not carry the ball that much in college, you kind of like that. You get to Hall, 531 carries last 2 years, 111 more than any other running back in the Power 5. So it says a lot about his durability. Would you take it into consideration as a concern if you're thinking about drafting him?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. And that's where then now your off-the-field study comes into play, where let's see this guy in person.
Yeah.
I need to see with a running back. I got to see him with his shirt off and stuff. I got to see the body. Is this guy jacked and look like he's got the kind of body that can last for a little while, right? Or is it kind of soft and I go, oh, shit, it might fall apart after 2 or 3 years? I want to know what his work ethic is like. I mean, those are things that now come into play with these type of guys, right? And I think it's part of the reason Jonathan Taylor got drafted in the 2nd round.
Right.
But Jonathan Taylor is that guy that we're just talking about, like psycho trainer, right? Obsessed with every calorie he has, let alone physically gifted. The shirt comes off, you go, holy shit, that's real. All right. So that's where I think that makes you feel comfortable. And as we're seeing Jonathan Taylor through 2 years in the NFL, he doesn't show any wear and tear as of yet right now. So it's not foolproof, that's for sure.
So 4 running backs that you like a lot. We were at this point a week or two ago talking about quarterbacks, and I wouldn't have said that. I'm like, wait, Chris doesn't love the 4 quarterbacks that went before. I think you really like the 4 running backs we already heard about, bringing us to number 1.
Kenneth freaking Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Did you watch him play in the fall, October, November?
I did, definitely. Like the Michigan game, I saw that.
Yeah,
and he
good.
caught my eye. Like when I was going back yesterday and going, let me watch 10 more plays of each guy just so I can feel good about my order, right? And all that. My son came in when he was watching him. He goes, oh, you said he was going to be awesome. I remember watching him this year in college. You said you liked him. And I was like, yeah, I did. You're right. I was blown away by him when turning film on.
Liked him even more than you thought?
Without a doubt, he is the best running back in this draft. I have no questions about that. No questions about that. He's everything. He has everything we just talked about with Breece Hall, except he runs angrier, he breaks more tackles, and he breaks more ankles. So I want to go, okay, wait, there's the same guy, except one, and they're equally as fast, except one guy has more power and does more with less. And that's what I would just go, okay, that's, to me, a slam dunk that this is the best running back in this draft.
His lead quality is?
His lead quality,
And while you're thinking, I'll throw out.
Because he's elite in a few areas, in my opinion.
4.38 at the combine?
Exactly. 4.38 at the combine.
Yep.
So I guess you would start there to go, he's elite in that area.
Speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's to me got a lot of things I like. A natural feel for running, like I talked with James Cook, where he runs up in the line of scrimmage and there isn't like, oh, wait, there's no hole, let me just sit here and wait. It's just like he naturally finds the bounce lane or the next lane or whatever else. He's got great vision for cutback lanes, so he's great there.
That's huge.
But then, other than the kid from Florida, it's the most violent runner in this draft. I mean, it's like, oh, wait, I have no way to shake you out here or do anything? Screw it. I'm going to lower my shoulder, and you're going to pay for this being here in this position.
To me, that jumped out. I haven't watched him as much as you.
But you watched that. You saw that.
I watched him in the fall quite a bit, and even before you notice the speed, you notice how comfortable he is with contact.
Man, does he not care about it.
Right?
Right. Just, contact balance going through the hole, gets hit hard on the shoulder, he's still running. Somebody has their arms around him, and it looks like they're going to drag him down, and he drags himself out of it and keeps running. And then runs for 10 yards, and then plants his foot in the ground and jukes the shit out of the guy, and then runs 25 yards up the field more. I mean, there's so many unbelievable runs where you go, that should have been a 5-yard gain, and he got 25. That should have been a loss of 2, and he got 12. That's where I just came away with it and just went, whoa.
Here's an awesome one for you, Chris.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Per PFF, led the nation in broken tackles. Okay, that's awesome.
There you go.
But then after the comma, 1 fumble. Fumbled 1 time while seeking out and excelling
in contact.
Finding success around that much contact.
Right. I know. That says a lot. He's rocked up. I love his body. It's rocked up. It's a different rocked up than the rest of the group. And again, I haven't seen him with his shirt off yet, but I would think he's an Adonis. And the way his legs are, and then his neck, and that, I mean, it just, his body looks like power. Even before you turn on the film, you just go, oh, this guy's great, And then, of course, the film backs it up. But, the ability to stick the foot in the ground, the ability to also weave like we talked about with the other guys, but also can just break you down and cross you over. Like, Barry Sanders-ish, where he gets a guy, oh, my gosh, that looks silly. He made that guy miss and keeps going. He has that. The acceleration is off the charts that way. Pass pro needs some help.
Okay.
Definitely does. And, again, it's not a smarts thing or he looks to he takes the easy way out. He looks to let me get down low and chop his leg out.
Okay.
Or I don't want to square him up here. I just ran the ball 5 times in a row. Let me kind of just stay on the edge and wait and try to hit him on the side and knock him out that way. There's definitely some of that.
And he also only had 18 career catches.
Yeah, there's not a lot. You're not that's something you're going to have to kind of figure out as you go. You're drafting this guy to be your bell cow.
Where you drafting
and
him?
Be your superstar. I'm drafting him in the end of the first round.
Yeah,
I am. Again, we know the running back, where it goes from there, and all that. But I would think he's the guy that and Breece Hall too. I understand it, but this guy more so for me.
Yeah,
that you would be thinking we could take this guy in the end of the first and feel awesome about it.
You've touched on this a little bit, but I want to kind of roll it out here as the hammer because so many people are thinking about Breece Hall against Kenneth Walker as their top back. Which one goes in the first round? The biggest difference between the two is
Walker makes so much more with less, right? That would be my biggest thing. Where I came away with Breece Hall too many times going, like I told you, he should have split that guy or hit it harder, and he would have had a 30-yard game, but he got 8. And again, there's still a lot of other runs the other way. Again, we're being picky about the top 2 running backs in the draft.
Yeah.
Walker, there's so many plays where in that same play I go, he hit it, he split the guys, I didn't even touch him.
Yeah.
Or they did touch him and it didn't matter, and he just ran through it. Or, and I thought he was clearly more elusive than Breece Hall with the ability to make people miss and do that. So that's where, I thought he was better really in about every area of Breece Hall. I went, check Kenneth Walker.
Right.
Both can go 70 to the house, but Walker was quicker to accelerate and quicker in general, quicker to see the bounce lanes, right? Also better between the tackles. I'm letting you run my thesis here, the last paragraph. Yeah. Walker also better between the tackles as far as tough yards, getting, 5 when 3 was there. Makes someone miss, breaks tackles, makes another guy miss for a 10-yard gain. I wrote his vision's better than Hall. Walker need to see more in the pass game, doesn't do it much like I wrote. And then I wrote, no question, Walker makes more with less, wakes way more yards after contact, and breaks more ankles, right? And I just can't get over how violent he is as a runner. He reminds me of Joe Mixon.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, top 3 running back in the league production.
He's a shorter Joe Mixon. Yeah. He's shorter Joe Mixon. The style in which he runs, the way he's rocked up, he's shorter Joe Mixon to me.
So as I pointed out before, I mean, with the exception of Saquon Barkley, the running backs in the first round the last 4 years have been 24 to 32.
Yeah.
You said you think he goes somewhere in the 20s. Do you think he's the one who goes somewhere before that 24? We haven't seen it besides Barkley in 4 years. Does he get consideration in the mid to late teens?
I don't think he will.
Because of him or because of what the league thinks of
I think the
backs?
league in general. I don't think it's because of him. I don't. And I'm sitting here looking at the end of the first round just going, is there anybody here that maybe that would make sense? Like, I look at Buffalo at 25. I like Devin Singletary. I mean, man, I don't know. I look at Kenneth Walker and go, he could change your freaking team. He could change your team.
Maybe Josh Allen wouldn't have to run 9 times a game.
On 3rd and 2, you don't have to worry about Allen. Now you got a guy that'll do it here. Let alone, oh, man, we got to defend him, man. You look at, there's some teams here that, Tampa Bay. They could look at it and go, hey, this is icing on the cake. Our offense is kind of set. What Leonard Fournette is kind of a 1-year deal, and we're going to be kind of done here. Ronald Jones just left in free agency.
That's right, yeah.
Right? So I look at that to go, there's another one. But we'll see. I would say more likely than not, it'll end up being in the second round.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have a feel for the total draft yet, but I do think there's a ton of defensive linemen and offensive linemen that are going to get drafted, and because of the depth of the running back class, that might hurt some of these guys from going in the first.
Top 5s are always fun at every position for all of us who love the draft, but especially when I can tell you really like all the guys.
Man.
Just a little something extra to it. So before we get to your honorable mention, just to recap: 5, Ty Davis-Price, LSU; 4, James Cook, Georgia; 3, Damian Price, Florida; 2, Breece Hall, Iowa State; and your top guy, Kenneth Walker, Michigan State, formerly of Wake Forest.
Yes, sir.
There's a list. That's a list.
There's a list. That's a list.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.